Hi, welcome to Sewist. My name's Corinne Brad, and today I've got a cute Christmas project for you, which is reusable, reversible Christmas crackers. They're made quite simply from 1.5 toilet rolls and 4 pieces of fabric. And the great thing about them is, if you want to change your decor, and you don't want the same table arrangement each year, but you want to make sure that your crackers are reversible, or reusable, should I say, you can very simply slide the toilet roll around inside your cracker. I say very simply, I'm actually making this look way more complicated than it is. And you can change the design. You can even have them so that they're two-tone. This does fit in here, honestly, trust me. So, we'll get started. Now, I don't know about you, but I bought a variety of toilet rolls recently because there was a time when toilet paper was in quite short supply. So I was lucky enough to have a higher quality roll with a smaller tube in it that fits neatly inside an ordinary toilet roll. If all your toilet rolls are the same size, it's quite simple to just cut down there, squeeze it up a bit and tape it so it will slide inside the other one with enough leeway. So the diameter of this small roll is 14.5 centimetres circumference. So you need to cut your fabric 15.5 centimetres to make sure it's a snug fit with the seam allowance. And this was 15.5 centimetres, so you cut it 16.5 centimetres. We only need half of the larger one. So I think a standard loo roll is about 10 centimetres long. So if you just mark the 5 centimetre mark around your toilet roll. It doesn't have to be perfect because this will be covered with fabric. And then carefully cut it with a craft knife or a pair of scissors. To make 5 centimetre long tubes. So you've now got 2 half-height toilet rolls, one that slips inside the other so that you can see both pieces when you pull it apart. What I'll do is in the description I will reiterate the measurements of this fabric because especially on this short roll, the difference between 16 centimetres and 16.5 centimetres is so slim, unless you've got a directional fabric, you'll forget which side you're sewing. So what I'm doing first of all is I'm going to sew the 16.5 width seam up at the top, just with a normal 5mm seam allowance. Like so. And then if you open it out, let's just finger press that seam to the darker side. And then bring your long edges together, match up that seam, and let's just pop a pin in there to keep it in place. And sew down the entire length so that the width of the fabric that was 16.5 uses up 0.5 mm on each end to make it 15.5, which is the diameter of this tube. Right, now, like the mathematical lunatic that I am, I have actually just said the diameter of this tube. I don't mean diameter, I mean circumference. So, it should slip quite neatly over the tube. And before you go any further, it is just worth testing that you can actually get your tube into that fabric with a little bit of leeway. Because what you now want to do is turn one side, the right side out, and top stitch around this top seam. Now the reason we do this is to make it much easier when you're reversing your fabric. You've got a definite seam to go by. And because this tube is so narrow, I won't be able to get it over the bed of my sewing machine with the accessory drawer removed. Just cut that thread off. So I'll lay it flat and just top stitch it. And doing it, top stitching it on the inside does mean you can see what's going on with the rest of the fabric and you're not going to accidentally get it caught as you're stitching. Doesn't like that seam at all, does it? Oh. Let's just cut those threads off before I get to the end and they get caught up in everything. Actually, let's have this reindeer side out. So you've got your double thickness tube, but rather than just cover the tube with the fabric, you need to grab your middle and pop it inside the tube, and then feed the outer layer of fabric around the outside. And then push your tube, your cardboard tube, right down to that top stitch line of your fabric, like so. And then if you just fold over, and actually this is where a bit of glue would come in handy, but I'm going to pin this. Fold over 5mm on both raw edges of your fabric. This looks complicated. It isn't. You can see what I'm doing in a second. So you fold over the raw edges and you line them up to each other so that you're going to create a similar seam to what you have at the bottom, down here, along the top. And I would suggest that you pin it on the inside because, again, you're going to have to stitch this along the inside. What would have been really helpful is if I'd pressed and lightly glued down these edges to start with before I even started this demonstration, but hey, hindsight is a wonderful thing. go. And then again, just pop that in your machine. And you can take the pins out as you go along because you've pinned it on the inside. Doesn't like that seam, does it? So there is the shorter half of your cracker, which, as I say, it's very easy to then turn it and manipulate it. So that it becomes reversible. So I'm just going to make the larger half, and it's made in exactly the same way, it's just you've got a longer piece of fabric. So give us a second and we'll come back. So, welcome back. I have now made the other half of my Christmas cracker, the longer one, as I say, in exactly the same way as the short part, but you're just using a longer piece of fabric. And what you'll find now is that with a bit of gentle manipulation, it will fit one side inside, one half inside the other. Just going to line up those back seams like so. And then to make your normal cracker shape, if you pop a spare tube in the end, trick my mother taught me when we used to make crackers at home from crepe paper. Cut yourself a piece of ribbon. It doesn't need to be too long. It's always worth cutting it on the diagonal so it doesn't fray. And where you've got a gap here where you haven't pushed the toilet roll right up, you can tie a knot and pull it tight before tying it in a bow. And because you've got your toilet roll supporting the fabric, the loose end of the fabric, get a much nicer finish because what it does is it gathers it up evenly all the way round. If you were to do it without the support, you'd find that it wouldn't gather nicely, it would tend to fold too much. Do the same for the other side. Cut this piece of ribbon much too short. There you go. Get the smallest bow in the world out of this one, I reckon. Don't be stingy with your ribbon like I just have been, because you'll end up getting irritated by it. And especially if you are going to tie and retie these crackers so that you can reverse them each time. If your ribbon is too short, it's just going to get badly frayed and not look very nice. So there you go. Little reindeer Christmas cracker, pulls apart. You can fill it with gifts and hats and jokes. Oh, that's an idea. We should ask people for their favourite cracker jokes. And you can use them again and again, even if you just use them as tree gifts. They make a nice decoration. And they're very, very simple to make. I won't tie this one up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. I hope you're going to come back and see us again very, very soon. We're going to have some more Christmas ideas for you in the pipeline. But until then, thank you very much for watching us. Take care. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.